welcome to Real WW Talk. I'm Erin.
And I'm Candice.
And there's no Rikki this week. Poor Rikki. Rikki is a teacher and she's had teacher preparation, which is completely different than having children en masse.
Yeah. Execution versus preparation. Two separate beasts.
Two separate things. And so she's like, y'all, I'm dead. And we're like, take the week, Rikki. Go for it.
Go to sleep. You deserve it.
To sleep. She said that's what she says. I'm going to visit the back of my eyeballs and see my eyelids and see how they look.
We got you, girl. We'll see you next time.
We do. So we will want to welcome you. And by the way, if you are a teacher, hats off to you at the start of the school year. Teacher, homeschool mom, daycare, all of the changes that are happening right now. My goodness, you may want to go back and revisit an episode from 2 weeks or so ago where we talked about navigating, these waters, kind of the change, and how do you stay on plan during that time. So you might find some inspiration in that if you haven't already listened to it.
We're with you all the way. You got
all the way. So I have a little show and tell.
Oh no.
Because I found something that is really delicious. And I was thinking about you, Candice, because no alcohol right now as you are continuing your cancer journey, cancer recovery here. I found this in Home Goods of all places. They had an entire section of non-alcoholic wines, and I didn't even know they make non-alcoholic spirits. So this is 0 points. It's called Ritual 0 proof, and this is a tequila alternative.
What? Did you try it yet?
Yes. So when you boop, I don't think you can hear the boop.
I heard it.
When you smell it, it smells like a tequila.
Oh my goodness.
I love me a margarita. I have them very sparingly. Like I never have them because for me on my WW journey, if I drink alcohol for some reason, it like my body just holds on to it. But Skinny Mixes, which we talked about an episode ago, they have a Skinny Mixes margarita that is 1 point. And so tonight, we record this in the evening. I know you'll be watching this in the morning. I'm not starting my day off.
Erin's starting off the day. She's really starting off.
It's Saturday.
Give that context, please, because someone's right. Well, at least you gave the context that it is alcohol free, so maybe people will be okay. Yeah.
Yes. So this is basically it's a 1 point margarita.
Oh wow, I definitely need that in my life because
it is really good.
You all brought over something when we had my 40th birthday that was like an amazing. I don't know if it wasn't. I forgot what it was.
But it was a white wine.
It was so good.
It was by Free F-R-E, I think.
Okay.
Found that at Home Goods too, but I've seen that in the grocery store. But that was really good. I will say this about this: the tequila has this, and it's a Ritual 0 proof, blue agave flower, Mexican lime, tropical guava, cracked sea salt, and charred oak.
Oh, right.
Oh, mesquite smoke, black peppercorn, capsicum fruit, cayenne, prickly ash, green bell pepper.
Yes.
All of the notes in it.
Like who comes up with that?
The cayenne and the black pepper are strong.
Okay.
Because you do have a spicy finish on the back. So I'm just putting that out there for my people like Rikki, no likey spicy. So
everyone who knows me knows who my husband is. And I always say, I didn't like spicy before I married David. And then David was like, oh, no, you do. You like spicy. I'm going to help you like spicy. We're going to put it in everything. So that looks like it's going to be a win.
And that reminds me, my sister-in-law, they have the most incredible garden and they grew jalapeno peppers. I need to make you charred jalapeno pepper hot sauce and give that to David.
Oh my goodness. Do you know what he made? Jalapeno poppers. He used the cream cheese. Now I've told him about the one that you gave me, the lactose free cream cheese.
Green Valley.
Oh my gosh. But he made them with like a little cream cheese and he wrapped it in like a piece of bacon and put it in the oven with these jalapenos that he cut down the middle. It was so good. And if you use the center cut bacon, which is 1 point, Jalapenos are 0, and you don't have to use a lot of cream cheese, but I am telling you, like, it just hit the spot. It's like a 2-point treat.
Yes.
And I was like, yes.
Would you rather have the jalapenos? I'll give you the jalapenos. You could just have them straight.
No, I want this thing that you're making. Like, please bless my life again every time.
I'll make you
Erin saves my marriage, okay? If you ever want to know how I've made it to almost 7 years married, it's because Erin comes up with these recipes, lets me try it, and never forgets my husband. That is just hostess with the mostest. So David goes, is there anything you need to go to Erin's house for? You need to pick something up, like anything, anything. Because we came home with salmon and some collard greens that let you know that Erin has a little color, a little ethnicity in her background. She's just got a little. I mean, you wouldn't tell it by looking at her, but I promise you, with her cooking, yes.
I'm gonna tell you what
she's talking about.
We got the I found at the grocery store the smoked ham hocks.
Yes.
And I was like, done.
Erin, it was so good.
We done. We doing it. We're doing it.
I'll find the recipe for you. I'll get her to share it, guys. Don't worry. I know that's coming up next. What did you put in it? I'll ask Erin.
There is no recipe other than
like
ham hocks and water.
You let the ancestors tell you how much seasoning to use.
Yeah. That's kind of it. That's my Southern Maryland roots coming out there.
That's what my grandma says. Just put a little bit. Put a little pinch.
Put a little.
What is a pinch? Like, I mean, really, is it a teaspoon pinch? Because sometimes those hands, I don't know. Because I know she yelled at me though when I tried to use turkey. Like, I tried to use
like a smoked turkey wings or something.
And she was like, "No." I told you she was upset. She said, "I said fat back." I said, "No." Well, I was just trying to make it healthier. She said, "Yeah, this isn't the dish you do that with. You don't do that with this." I said, "Grandma, so noted. I am very sorry. Forget my blood pressure." I mean,
oh my gosh,
not the thing. So,
I, to be honest, I don't even remember what we were going to talk about.
We just got on ham hocks and things.
We should start talking about ham hocks. But, right, like, first off, Candice, you should be, I'm surprised that you're not like really jumping up and down because it's the first weekend of September. And I don't know what happened, but my brain, the minute I saw September on the calendar, I'm like, I've switched over mentally. Have you done that?
Yes, 100%.
It's still blazing hot outside though. Nothing's changed.
No, and it hasn't, but I don't know if you're like, I'm in a lot of different groups, like for like volunteer and things, and they give you the summer off. So they give you June, July, August, they leave you alone.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say as of September 1st, it's like, hello, let's go ahead. That's why I need one of those because it's full steam ahead. That's why I fully understand Rikki. It's like summer is over.
Yeah.
May not feel like it yet, but summer is over.
Yeah.
And it's that transition for me. It's just, you don't get one. It's like, it was here and then it's gone.
And summer did not feel like summer.
No.
To me. I don't know about you, but like I've not had a summer, but that's because I had a spring.
Yeah.
I mean, right. I mean, I was in Israel for 2 weeks in the spring, and then I was in Florida for a week for a conference. And so I feel like I kind of, moved my time around, and I'm feeling like I'm going to be I have to take vacations this fall because I got a lot of time still left to take.
That's what I was going to kind of ask. I know that I don't remember what we were going to talk about either, but I think thinking about the second half of the year, like we're fully into it now. It's past July and all of that.
Yep.
Like, do you have like a lot of things? Do you feel like it's going to be more intense in the first half? And how are you prepping for that? Because
that's a great question. So one of the things that I've tried to get out of talking about is like work is always so busy. Work is stressful.
Mm-hmm.
Work, right. But the reality is I work for a nonprofit. And so September is our second busiest month for the nonprofit because that's when we're doing our fundraising. And as well as that part, we then ramp up all of our events.
Mm-hmm.
We've been doing them all summer, but they just take a whole different shape in the fall. On top of that, one of the people that was on my team has moved. And so now I'm down a person, And so now I'm kind of being stretched and grown, and I just don't have the redundancy. So if something breaks, I'm it. So if I go away on vacation, I got to take my laptop with me. There's nothing, there's nothing around that. So what I've been trying to do, I've been trying to separate the work from the home the best that I can, because the mental, I think this is probably more of it. The mental part of me is staying at work after work is done. And so I'm kind of a little bit back in that space. And I recognize that. And I want to make that shift. I need to make that mental shift again to me to relax my brain from that, to think other things and be involved in different things. So that's kind of where I'm living in that space. That's why it's so good for me 4 p.m. to close my laptop and go for my walk. Like,
that's what I was going to say. The walking has always been a way for you to kind of make that shift.
yes.
It was just so key. For me, the earlier part of the year, I was still finishing up the cancer journey in terms of treatment. I feel like the first half of the year, February is when I finished up radiation and rang the bell. And then I started my maintenance drug that I'll be on for the next 5 years. And my body had to adjust, and I had to get over the PTSD, which I still am not completely over, if I'm just honest, of everything that happened.
Yeah.
And people being really happy for you. And what I'm processing and having to let go of from the first half of the year is how quickly people feel like you're just over it. Like,
Yeah.
it went from, we understand, oh my gosh, space, you're okay. Like, I'm just praying for you and we're going to leave you alone, to, oh, you're finished. You're fine. Great. You're here. You beat it. All right.
Yep.
Let's go back to Candice like she was pre-cancer. And I am still kind of in this world of like, I can't believe that this happened to me and I'm still here. So as I've been focusing on the second half of the year and all of these commitments that I talked about coming up, and navigating the world when I'm still not 100% okay, has been something where I'm having to be very, very deliberate about my self-care, similar to you, and saying, even though I may look it, I'm not 100% okay. Like, I still am going through the emotional process of healing from something that was very, very traumatic, and something that I'm still in treatment for. I'm still actively receiving drugs to keep myself cancer free.
Yeah.
So it's something where having to be deliberate to have those conversations so that I can eat well, exercise. Like, I'm having to put boundaries up. We talk about that B word a lot. Like, boundaries is my go-to for the second half of the year. And I just thought that was such a key point.
So something that I'm hearing you say that I'm also feeling within myself, and I'm wondering, how many people listening right now are used to plowing through.
Yeah.
Right. I'm just going to keep plowing through because we'll get over this. Right. And instead, maybe trying to shift that conversation or shift that thing, which I think that I hear I'm doing and hearing that you're doing as well, to go, actually, I'm not going to plow through. That's not really served me well. And I just need to sit in this. I need to address it, not sit in it to mope, but to sit and ask myself some questions in this space.
Yeah.
And what is it that I want to move forward to doing, instead of trying to keep running at the breakneck speed, actually slowing, taking the exit ramp. I'm going to go pull over into the gas station for a second.
Yeah.
I'm going to go get a Coke.
Yeah. Yes.
I'm going to go sit at a picnic bench.
You're going to have a Coke Zero. Yeah.
Right. Coke Zero. I'm going to walk around a little bit.
Yeah.
And let me think. That's kind of how I'm looking at it within myself. How about you?
Yeah. And for me, coming from a place of not, I'm sorry to others that I have to do that, but thank you for your patience. Thank you for your understanding, because this is something, because I can come from a place of apologetic a lot. Like it was
Right.
hard for me. One of the things that was hard for me was deleting meetings. Like I haven't been able to go to an in-person meeting for a while. And I
Same.
love our 7:30
Same.
a.m. team. I mean, I miss you guys so much. For those who are listening, I know we have a lot in our group, but with my family obligations and the things that were coming up, I just was not, I've been unable to go in person.
Same.
And I felt guilt. I mean, and sadness, like I gotta go. I have to do this. And all of this stress and pressure that I'm putting on myself to show up.
And it's because we don't want people to think that they don't matter to us.
Right. Like if
Right. That's where it comes out of.
Rikki saying, I just cannot tonight, is self-care. She could, which she shouldn't, which I'm sure she should not feel this way. But if it was like, well, I don't want to let Erin and Candice down because I can't, it's not about that. Like, I think that what I am learning is that prioritizing my needs helps me be a better friend, helps me be a better community member, helps me be a better sister, wife, mother.
Mm-hmm.
And if I don't, and the burnout happens, it's no bueno, period. Like you want me to do this. And I think that God has put me in a unique position where it's forcing me to have to say it. It's forcing me to have to do it. So I actually took a lot from your journey that you shared. Like I said, last year, there were some times where you were like on the podcast, I am not okay right now. I can't explain it. I'm just not. I need to get away. I need to do this. And really, no matter what others may think, this is just what has to happen. And I'm tying that back to how I'm able to show up for myself with my health, which I fought so hard for.
Mm-hmm.
That was the piece that I've been really hit with, is we push so hard with the points and the tracking and the water and the exercise. But what does it mean if we're not taking care of ourselves up here and not willing to say, this is how I'm best able to do that? And that's by putting up these boundaries. And that's me truly honoring myself.
Yeah. And one of the things that I've been learning about boundaries too is that boundaries are less about keeping people out and giving us opportunity to invite people in.
Yeah.
Really the boundary is, I would love to be able to do this. I can't right now, but could we do this?
Yeah.
Trying to find the way around it. So, applying that maybe to my health journey, applying that to my WW journey. I'd like to come in at this time to be able to help you do this. I need to come in at this time. I'm not asking for permission. That's been a big thing for me, has been not asking for other people's permission to do me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I know what I need. I know I've shared a couple times, over the past couple of weeks, that if I don't do breakfast, the first thing that I'll go when I'm in an unhealthy state, I don't eat breakfast. And then the rest of my food goes haywire, which means I must have either Saturday or Sunday to meal prep.
Mm-hmm.
And at some point during the week, I must spend time planning those things so that I can go to the grocery store to get what I need, and then have the time in the kitchen to be able to prepare all of those things. And that means I have to get realistic with my time.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to get realistic with myself about what time I'm going to set aside to go do that. And I need to adhere to what I've said that I'm going to do, because I'm my biggest enemy. I'm the person who breaks it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But if I've said Thursday night, I've set aside an hour to plan and prep and create my grocery list for Saturday, then if somebody invites me to go do something Thursday night, I need to really think if I'm going to break that commitment to myself, or say I'm going to move this to this time to go do,
But see what, and yours is, I'm not asking permission, and mine is, I'm not apologizing.
Yes.
And it's so, as a reformed people pleaser, the immediate reaction when I take care and prioritize myself is, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Erin, that I did this. I'm sorry that I couldn't do this for you. Instead of, like I told you, coming from a place of gratitude, thank you. Because I thank you for your patience. Thank you for understanding that I need to take some time for myself, because even if you don't, you're eventually going to have to. Going into the second half, like I said, or being fully into it and seeing all of these obligations come forward for me, and thinking about where I want to be December 31st. It's not even like the goal of like, where do I want to be at the end of the year? It's just, I want to keep my mental health in tip-top shape. And I see on the horizon all the different ways that people are coming for the time that I have allotted for my self-care, with my food, with my exercise, but also with prioritizing me and sometimes doing nothing.
Yeah.
And knowing that I don't have to explain that I don't even have anything to do. I just need to be able to do nothing right now because I'm still processing.
And if somebody asks, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You don't owe an explanation to anybody.
Yeah.
Because there's guilt in saying, I'm doing things. Well, then you could do it. Like, no. It's okay to say, hey, I've got other plans that day. It's okay to say that and then adhere to that if somebody presses you on it. That's a thing that I'm learning.
And realizing that really does impact your journey. Like, I mean, when we're taking it back to WW, those who I feel who do not have that ability naturally, and who more often than not give in to the pressures of others' opinions, thoughts about what they should or should not be doing, I would, without any data to support it, would say that they probably struggle with hitting their goals and struggle with being able to be consistent, because you know that meal prep is key for you to be able to not eat out during the week and to, feel good about yourself. You know that having that hard stop at 4:30 or whatever time, saying, I must go for my walk. Like, it has to be that this is what has to happen, or else I'm not going to feel good. Is something that you have to do. But if you are constantly giving in to the outside pressures that are telling you, Erin, it's not going to be that much. It's fundraising season. You know what it is. We just need you to accommodate this one time. 1 becomes 2, becomes 3, becomes 4. And then before you know it, you're not walking anymore because you broke the streak and you feel some kind of way about that. And I've seen that in my own life, but I still have sometimes been so focused on others' feelings and their feelings being more important than my own, that I wasn't able to push past it and say, this is what's best for Candice. This is what I need. Cancer taught me how to do it a bit, but it's still a struggle. And I will admit to you that it's been on my mind when I see all these emails coming through, because it's now September, of all the things that I am suddenly needed to sign up for. And what God put in my mind is, they figured out how to do it last year when you completely were not available, because they understood. But now, because they think that you're fine, they just want to pile it on. It's up to you. You don't need cancer to be the reason that you still put up the boundary. It doesn't have to be a debilitating disease. It could just be, that's what I've chosen for myself.
Right. And it's like, what are the commitments that we want to make?
Right.
Going into this next quarter? It kind of takes us back to like our conversation, maybe 2 or 3 episodes, and we talked about what are our top priorities. Getting really clear about what are our top 3 priorities going into the fall. That, because everybody's got a priority
for us,
right? Everybody else has a priority that they'll want you for their priority. And you have to look at your time, and even going back to doing something just as simple as literally counting how many hours in the day, minus out the hours that you're sleeping, minus out the hours, like if you got kids and now you're doing sports and ballets and all of those things, minus those hours out, minus your work hours out, minus your meal prep hours. What do you have left over? And it's going to be fewer hours than you think it is.
Yeah.
and really just go, okay, what do I want to do with this? Because at some point you want to see David and you want to see Isaiah.
Maybe,
Right.
it's kind of hard when you live in the house and you're like, I see you in passing, which can happen.
Which can happen.
Yeah. If
Exactly.
you're focused on doing all the things.
And I've learned for me, so I don't have the husband, I don't have the kids. I got a niece and nephew whom I adore, and I'm going to spend some time with them. But I also have looked at my time recently and said, I have not done anything fun. I haven't done anything fun. I've been really like zoned into certain things. And when I do fun things, it's always because it's spontaneous. I don't plan fun things. And so I'm looking at September, October, November, and December, and I'm actually planning a fun thing, one fun thing in the month, because if I was to say I'm going to do a fun thing every weekend, that's completely unrealistic to
Right.
me, right? But usually once you start something, it begets more things.
Yeah.
So I know September or October, I've got to figure out where I'm going to do it. I'm going to go sunflower picking. I love to go to the sunflower farms and pick sunflowers. And October is usually like the end of the season, and then they're like, "Hey, pick the whole field for free." That's my idea.
Yeah.
But apple picking, that's a fun thing for me to be able to go do.
Yeah.
Get away for the weekend and maybe go to Havre de Grace because we're in Maryland, and go look at the lighthouse, or maybe Ladue Gardens, which is up in, Harford County, thinking like that. I just went and saw Lionel Richie and Earth, Wind and Fire. Like that was a total spontaneous fun thing that a coworker and I did together. So that's honestly what made me start thinking, I haven't done anything fun in a while. And that was so all of my white came out during Boogie Wonderland.
I remember because that was a few weeks ago, and I was like, Erin, I am so jealous because it was not on my radar. I didn't even know about this. And I said, how did Erin know? And I didn't know. And I needed to have been there. It looked like I had so many friends who went, and I was like, dang it.
Nobody told me.
Nobody told me.
It was one of my coworkers. He said, yeah, my wife and I are going to go do this. And then my other coworker and I looked at her. We're both single, and we're like, should we go do that? And he said, well, you could meet here. And then the minute a man says, hey, we can meet here and I'll drive and take care of the parking,
I'm there.
Yes. I'm in. Yeah. I'm in. And that's exactly what happened.
But it's sad. But what I take away from that too is you remember how that felt and how fun it was, right? Mm-hmm. And it shouldn't be that we have these moments that seem like they're so far away. Like, oh my gosh, a few weeks ago, I did something fun. For me, my 40th birthday, I think I told you, David, my husband, he allowed me to spend the whole day at the spa. I mean, the entire day. And it was glorious. And some people were like, how are you there all day? Because I was able to not only get the massages and stuff, but just be with myself and my books and my music and just zone out, and to know that I was given that, and to say it doesn't have to be my 40th birthday for me to plan that, and to say, you know what? October, I have to do a little more planning because I do have a son. I can't just kind of, figure it out 3-year-old. I have to kind of plan for him and figure out who's going to watch him or tell David. But having that time meant a lot to me, and it put me in a better headspace, and it helped me. I feel like my blood pressure was just normal, great, like low pulse, everything was perfect. And I said, I deserve that. And not just on birthdays. I deserve that because it's September. I deserve that because it's October. But what it's going to require is me saying no to things that I am not passionately or very acutely interested in, that may be things that other people want me to do and prioritize for them.
Right.
And that, like I said, for me and for others who are like me, that is easier said than done, but very, very necessary.
Yep.
And I have to not let people who know that I am a caring person who tends to overextend myself, let me put my priorities to the side.
Mm-hmm. this is a little tip from the touring world. So the nonprofit I work with works with a lot of different artists and speakers and things. They will take days. Most people think like, oh, if somebody's going to pay me to be there, I'll be there in a heartbeat. That's not how it happens, especially for the women speakers, because most of the women speakers have families, right? And so for them to just hop up and go do a speaking engagement it's extremely, it's hard. It's hard. So many of them will, work more on the digital route because that fits better within their family lifestyle. So women and men who are listening to our podcast, they set aside certain dates. The speakers, the artists that we work with, they set aside dates on the calendar. If you request time on a date that's not on the calendar, hey, thanks for asking. Don't have that date available. And so that way you're being more proactive and setting aside. If someone asks me to come do something, I've got here and here available to go do this, because you're the one that's running your calendar. You've already plugged in. This is going to be my day of fun. This is going to be this, and this will be this. It feels very structured if you're not used to doing something like that, but it's actually very freedom giving, because now you've created the space to be able to do those things, but it still puts you in control of your calendar, and that it's not spinning out. And the next thing you know, you're like desperately trying to take a day off just to get your mental faculties together,
And there's no trophy that you get if you decide to make every single day available.
Yeah.
Like I used to think there was some medal I got. Like, oh, well, Candice is always so dependable. Like Candice is always there. She always says yes. She always does the things. You get nothing.
No.
I have tried it. I promise. They'll say thanks, and then they will go and do what they prioritize for themselves. Right. And you're left with guilt. So I love that. And I love being proactive and saying, hey, I'm not even going to sneak it up on you. Like, I'm not available during this time. I don't have to tell you why.
Yep.
I just want to cut my nails, or I want to paint my nails, or I want to watch Twilight, or I want to do whatever. I don't have to tell you, but I'm not available.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
There's no trophy for burnout.
No trophy.
And takers will always take what a giver gives.
Wait, say it again. Say it again.
Takers will always take what a giver gives. There's no off switch for that. If you give, they'll keep taking until you stop. And that's not to say that everybody is a taker. People who ask you to do things are takers, but that's just the reality of what happens in the situation. If you give, you will constantly giving. They're not going to say, hey, you should stop giving. Yeah. Here, they'll go, okay, keep going. Right. Yeah. And so that's up to you to make the decision on how much and what you are going to give of yourself to these specific things, right? Because you're also giving to yourself, to your health journey. You're giving to yourself for rest. You're giving to yourself for exercise. So you are primary in this space, and these are then what comes after you've set that primary scope.
I'm so glad the conversation went in this direction.
I am too.
Because it's helpful, and it's something that I think that
margarita.
Probiotic poppy to go with your tequila. But I really needed this more than probably you did. I don't know. I'm going to speak for myself, because I am proud of how far I've come, and I've been very, very open and public about it. But it was freeing to say, doesn't mean that I am just okay. And I still have to be committed to prioritizing my mental health and my self-care. If it's to the detriment of others, that's okay. They'll be okay.
They'll be okay.
They'll be okay.
They may be a little disappointed, and that's okay that they're a little disappointed.
Okay. It's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. They'll get over that. And if they don't and they hold it against you, then you didn't want to be messed up with that anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. And we're out of time, but controlling words also don't have a space. So when someone tells you, but you're the only one who can do this, you're so good at it. Those used to be things that would get me to, you're the only one. I mean, who does it better than you? And you're like, and that's wonderful. And I'm so glad that you feel that way. I am sure you'll find a way.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it being mediocre.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's the only thing, I'm okay with it.
If I'm always taking the space, you'll never know who's capable if I'm not there. That's the way that I've also looked at things too, is, there are other people who are able and who can come and fill this void, and they may even be even more gifted than me at this. But because I'm here, we'll never know. And so when I step back, that gives someone else the opportunity to step in who may actually be better at this, whatever this thing is, than me. We just don't know because I'm filling that space.
And when God humbled me and said, I'm going to take you completely out of everything. And guess what happened? Life went on. Everything got done last year.
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
There it is. Well, okay. That wraps us up for this week. Listen, if you're just in that space right now where you're feeling the intensity of maybe like a new season that you're heading into, we just invite you to take a little breath with us. Come join the Real WW Talk Facebook group. It's a wonderful group. You'll find lots of support there. We're on Instagram. You can watch us on YouTube. And of course, the same conversation that you're hearing, if you are watching us someplace, pop us in your pocket and listen to us on the podcast platform as well. So listen, we're off to a new season. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. It can be a really great thing if we open our arms, open our hands, and embrace it. So yeah, we hope you have a great week, and we'll see you next week with Rikki with us.
That's right. Bye. Bye.